Guys, good morning. Happy Monday. Alrighty, let's get situated here. Ravens are playing tonight, so that should be fun. Ravens Bucks Monday night. Chargers playing the Cardinals also on ESPN Plus. Guess that game's gonna start like an hour after the Ravens. Another one of those you have to get the app and exclusively watch it. Lucky for me, I don't care enough to watch it, and the Ravens are playing the Bucks. So Chargers Cardinals. Quick thoughts on that. Line just looks really weird. Chargers are only favored by a point. Arizona, I can't get them right this year, so I will certainly stay away from the game because I'm watching the Ravens anyway. But they're making it easy to take the Chargers tonight. That's my analysis of it. So be careful. But I really haven't put too much thought into what's going on with Arizona. I just know the Chargers play same football week in and week out. Seems like winning football, run the football, play good defense. We shall see, but it is only 1 point. Figure the Chargers be favored by three. So good luck if you're betting on that game. As far as the Ravens are concerned, should be a great game tonight. Really should. Tampa Bay is awesome. I'm really high on the Bucks. I think they're certainly a playoff team, and I think they're just as good as anybody in the NFC. They have all their guys back here on defense. So Winfield's back, Vita Vea's back. They got Levante David, they got Clancy, they got a linebacker named Britt. They're pretty loaded. The defense hasn't played that great this year, but they're really good against the run. I don't know if they can stop Lamar. We shall see. It should be fun. On the other side of the ball, Ravens secondaries gets a huge test tonight because the Bucks offense with Baker is just a well-oiled machine. Like out of nowhere, Baker's an elite quarterback. So it's been going on now for a minute. So got to give him credit. Should be a great game tonight. Looking forward to it. I'll break it all down tomorrow instead of spending this morning previewing it because I feel like just like everybody else, if I want to get a preview, there's up until game time, there's no shortage of places to listen to. But really, it's a simple game plan. If the Ravens just play their game and run the football and keep the other team off the field, they're really really hard to beat. And yeah, Bucks might have their horses back, but can they stop Lamar and Derrick Henry? I don't think anybody can really. So I'm so excited for what I've seen ever since Dallas with Kolar and Ricard getting a lot of snaps and just the commitment to running the football. This Ravens team, when they run the football, is great. I think the defense will just improve. I know it will. New coordinator, still getting adjusted to some things, and they can always make a trade if they want to upgrade in the secondary or get another pass rusher. So should be a fun game tonight, but they are 4-2. They don't have the luxury of just having an off game, too many of them because of that Raiders loss and with Pittsburgh winning last night. So, all right, I'll be here in the morning to talk about it all. Let's go through the games, what happened yesterday, because it was not a great day for me. And just, baseball early in the week did well, and baseball in particular, helped me have a winning week. But yesterday in the NFL, not so well. So let's go through it. Jags destroy the Patriots. Will it springboard them for success? Doubtful, but stranger things have happened in the NFL. The Patriots are officially done. They are just terrible. So that was the takeaway from that game. Patriots are done. Jacksonville, we'll see if they can go on a run. Not really worth talking about that game too much. Titans, I said stay away from the Bills. I was right up until halftime, right? Like Titans played really well. It was one of those games Buffalo seemed not prepared for, a little lethargic. Really good bet if you made it was the Bills in the second half because they shut out the Titans. It was 10-7, and they win 27-0 in the second half. Buffalo looks like a well-oiled machine that just took them a minute to get going. Scary if you're a Ravens, Chiefs, or I guess Steelers, anybody else fan because the Bills look really really good. They end up covering easily against the Titans, so half right about staying away from the Bills. It was for the first half, but they got together at halftime, and the Titans are just lifeless. They made when you look back on what happened with this Titans team, it's going to be one of the most epic decisions of making the wrong decision, if you will, for ownership or somebody in a big power position. Because if you remember, it was a power struggle between Vrabel, the coach last year, and Cawthorn, I believe is his name, the general manager. And Vrabel's like, we'll just double down on Derrick Henry. That's how we've been playing football this year. And Cawthorn, whatever his name is like, no, we're going to go with Will Levis and, spread it out and spend all this money on receivers. And God almighty, the ownership goes with him. Vrabel's sitting at home. Derrick Henry is the best running back in the NFL and the Ravens, and the Titans suck. Just a disaster. All they had to do was get rid of the general manager and be like, yeah, I'm just going to keep Vrabel, keep this running back. And what does Vrabel want to do a quarterback? He's won a couple Super Bowls and he knew Will Levis. It's just, you can't win with this guy. Apparently, you can't win with Mason Rudolph either. So, Titans suck. Bills cruise. Next game, I'm so annoyed that I didn't bet this game because it's like, whatever I do with the Seahawks this year, it just feels like yeah, whatever. Anyway, they win. They dominate the Falcons. That's the Seahawks team that I was counting on when I made these bets before the season. That's what I was counting on against the Niners. Stayed away, but I thought they were going to win that game, and they did. They really dominated. That defense is exactly. It was the turnovers. It was explosive plays. McDonald drew it up. They beat up Cousins. They got the game clinching. What was it? The sack fumble recovery by their linebacker Hall, and they dominated. Metcalf made a nice catch. He was terrible the week before. Seahawks dominate. They go to 4-3. The Falcons are just going to be fighting for that 6 or 7 spot because I really think the Bucks are a couple notches above them in that division. So maybe the most entertaining game. I don't think it was the most well played game, but the Packers Texans game, classic back and forth where you just when these games are 50-50, that's why you take the 3 points because the Packers win by 2 at the buzzer. Yeah, Love and Stroud just pretty much go back and forth. Really impressed with both defenses, though. I came away from that game thinking both teams can win the Super Bowl. Yeah, really, really good football game. Back and forth. Stroud is so good, but he just makes so many mistakes and they make it hard for him. They don't pass protect very well. That's the next step for him. He's got to do a better job of checking off and figuring out his protection because he's getting killed out there. And the Packers get it done. Packers are getting it done, and they're still not playing great. Their defense is playing much better. Yeah, Packers. Not betting against Packers this year. I think the Packers might have the highest ceiling out of any team potentially in the whole NFL, at least in the NFC. I'm seeing flaws around, especially with Hutchinson getting hurt with the Lions. We'll get to that game in a minute. But yeah, Packers, big takeaway, big win. Way to, have that last minute drive there by Love to get the field goal. Yeah. So, all right, this one I'm killing myself for. The Browns lose by 7. God, the Browns. So Watson goes out, and I'm like, well, this is perfect. That's exactly what I was hoping for. I thought Winston would come in, and so they go with DTR, and the Browns just get penalties after penalties. Every time he makes a good play, something bad happens. Their defense was great. The Bengals play not to lose. I guess they didn't lose, but the Bengals are still playing conservative. They play the Eagles next week. That should be interesting. Browns suck. I suck for taking the stupid Browns. They can't cover. Ravens play the Browns next week. They'll get up for that game. But, man, they're trending towards Watson's out for the year, so that does them a favor. They can just draft a quarterback and start over, I guess, because, man, they're always starting over. They're just an absolute disaster, the Browns. So I can't believe I even did it. I should have just taken the under for the Bengals points and been done with it. I think it was 21.5 or 23.5. So, but I didn't. This one, I get a little lucky at the end. Thank God I won something in the NFL yesterday. The Colts beat the Dolphins. The Colts are, I mean, do they go back to Flacco here? If you watched any of this game, Anthony Richardson just cannot read the field. He just can't. He drops back and he panics. He's got no pocket presence. He's nervous. Fumbles snaps in the red zone. The Colts defense somehow carried them to the victory because the Dolphins offense is just nonstop fumbling too. They're inept. Horrible football game. Just horrible to watch. I watched a lot of it. Colts win 16-10. They had the field goal at the buzzer, or not the buzzer, but towards the end of the game. And then luckily, the Dolphins are in a position where Tim Boyle was leading the 2-minute drive. Tim Boyle's got a ridiculous career. He might have these blackmail tapes on GMs around the NFL because I don't know how he's still employed. He threw the ball on 4th down 8 feet out of bounds to end the game yesterday. So luckily I get the Colts. They win. They're 4-3. They're going to get the Texans this week. And if Richardson, I don't know what they're going to do because Steichen's got the best offensive mind. Every time Flacco's back there, guys are wide open. They have weapons all over the place. And then when Richardson's the quarterback, it's a completely different team. They can't get the ball down the field at all. He just can't stay in the pocket. That's the issue. if you're trying to figure out who can play quarterback, if you're watching high school football, college football, NFL football, if you can't stay in the pocket, um, like it just doesn't work. Like you see Lamar and Mahomes make these plays, and but they're in the pocket way better than what looks like the end result. Like if you watch the play develop, especially lately with Lamar, Mahomes is really actually not great at it. He's almost the exception to the rule. He gets out of there more often than he really needs to, but the ability to stay in the pocket, Richardson does not have it. Colts win though, so thank God they win. Best game of the day was probably Lions Vikings. Darnold shows me a lot. The Vikings are going to make the playoffs. That was my takeaway after this game. Is they're at least going to get a wild card because they're just dynamic now on offense, like actually dynamic. He throws the ball down the field really well. Justin Jefferson is a freak. They just couldn't stop Jared Goff. Like Jared Goff is just on fire. I mean, stepping up in the pocket. If you watch any of that game, you can't come away with any other opinion besides if you've never watched football before, is this the best quarterback in the NFL? Because Jared Goff, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like he was so good that that was like it was breathtaking, frankly. Like some of these throws he was making, the Vikings are sending everybody at him. The Lions held up and won that game after they tried to give away the game, with a couple turnovers towards the end. Both teams are making the playoffs. I don't know if they can win the Super Bowl, but it was a great game. Not a great game is the Eagles and the Giants. Eagles offense still sucks. I know they went over. I know Barkley ran all over them. It's my fault for taking the damn Giants. So that's no opinion changed on the Eagles. The Giants, they could not block down. They're just not on the field. They can't get any first downs. They can't block. I mean, it was so frustrating to have a bet on the Giants. It's one thing to have the under in the Eagles points, but to bet you've never been out of a game so fast because they couldn't move the ball. They couldn't, and they're sacking Hurts. He has no pocket presence. Talk about no pocket presence. But the Giants are so bad yesterday. I couldn't believe how bad they were. That was so bad. Yeah, Barkley just ran all over him. They had insult to injury. Eagles play the Bengals next week. I don't know if I can bring myself to bet on the Bengals because I hate the way they're being coached right now. But Eagles still suck, so we'll see what happens next week. But damn it, I just that game certainly ruined my morning, early afternoon for sure. Commanders, speaking of teams that don't suck, well, I guess the Panthers suck. I don't know how much time we need to spend on the Panthers. It's getting out of hand. Like this owner's got the worst karma ever. I would just get rid of the team at this point. This is becoming an embarrassment. I don't know what he does. You go back to Bryce Young. I don't know. I mean, they lost 40-7 and Jaden Daniels didn't even play. Hopefully he's okay. They probably will sit him for at least a few weeks the way Mariota looked. Maybe he's the best backup quarterback in the NFL, not named Joe Flacco. Mariota rolls, Washington rolls. I really think they're going to win that division. I'm just pissed I didn't bet more money on it before the season. They just destroyed the Panthers. I mean, I don't know what else we say about it. I watched the entire Chiefs-Niners games. I was like, not worth to watch it. But the Panthers are just, they turn the ball over early. They don't want to play. They have a brand new coach. I just don't even know. Maybe somebody will do a deep dive on the Panthers and one Wednesday afternoon we'll talk about it. But whew, they are just awful. Annoying game, a boring game, weird game, but the Rams win. They beat the Raiders. They don't cover. I know most people probably had the Rams. Cup didn't play. Really didn't watch much of the game. Rams beat the Raiders though. They don't cover. Win 20-15. I don't know what to make of it. Rams play the Vikings on Thursday night. They win that game, and then we'll entertain the Rams. I'm sure Cup will play. That'll be a tough game for the Vikings coming off a tough game against the Lions. That should be a fun game on Thursday. So I'll evaluate the Rams on Thursday. I definitely won't bet that game since I didn't watch the Rams at all this week. I want to talk about this Niners game because, okay, so you cannot bet against Brock Purdy. It's Brock Purdy. You fucking can bet against Brock Purdy, that's for sure. You can't bet against Patrick Mahomes, even though he, again, tries to give the game away, like multiple times, tried to give the game away, like not playing great. And the Niners just won't capitalize. And then they won't cover at the end, which is nice. They miss an extra point. So we're in the business of having to go for two. And I'm living and dying with a cover on a 2-point conversion. What an awful 2-point play. Purdy was scared. He went from dominant against Seattle, dare I say dominant, like really just the man on the field, commanding everything, to gun shy against the Chiefs. They're knocking the ball all over the place. He can't figure out how to get the ball, to open receivers. Then if a guy is open, they're dropping it. The Niners looked bad yesterday. The Chiefs defense looked great. I gotta give it to them, but their offense, if anything, that was maybe one of their worst performance offensively. Like, and they still put up 28. They're gonna win. It is what it is. Like, I mean, I don't know what else to say. I guess Baltimore's headed there. I guess Buffalo's headed there. I guess Pittsburgh. Whatever team doesn't look like they're going to lose more than one or two games this year at this point, because that defense is really dynamic. They lose Juju early in the game. I imagine they add a receiver this week. That would be my prediction. Who they add, I'm not sure. Patriots receivers, I'm sure, are up for grabs. Panthers receivers are up for grabs. Browns have any receivers left? They're up for grabs. Raiders have any receivers left? They're up for grabs. Who else sucks around here? Giants have any receivers left? They're up for grabs. But yeah, they need somebody. Maybe even the Dolphins trade back. I don't know what the cap situation is and how they can make it work. But the Chiefs definitely need to add somebody because yes, they're going to keep winning. They're going to keep winning. They're going to keep winning. But they certainly need to add one more piece on the outside in order to get all the way over the hump. That would be my takeaway because Mahomes, it just doesn't look whatever. I don't even know what I'm talking about. They're just going to win every game. It doesn't even matter. Like, it's just so annoying. It really is. Like, unless you bet on them, it is absolutely annoying. It is, unless you're somehow a fan of Taylor Swift and that gets you excited. But it's just annoying. They get everything goes their right direction, like all the time. They're more likable than the Patriots. At least give them that. But man, it is just like the Patriots, especially if you're a Ravens fan. You've been watching football for as long as the Patriots were good. It is eerily similar, where you're just watching the game and you're just like, what's going to happen. You don't know how it's going to happen, but you just know they're going to win. But the Niners, not a good sign for the Niners at all, the way they played yesterday, because that game was there for them. Now they're 3-4. It's going to be hard to get up for some games. They're not careful. They're not going to make the playoffs. I didn't have them making the playoffs before the season, so we shall see. I knew the Squealers were going to win yesterday, but I didn't know they were going to be down 15-6. Rodgers throws a pick at the end of the half, and you listen to him after the game. It's everybody else's fault. No, it's his fault, because if it's 15-6 going to halftime, the Steelers are not winning that game. Instead, it's 15-13 going to halftime, and that was it. Steelers just blow them out in the second half because the Steelers are a better conditioned team. It was loud. They felt good going into halftime, and the Jets are just pathetic. Unless everything's going in the right direction for the Jets, they can't, that's just them. They're a front running team in so many different ways, and they lose. They get demolished. They play the Patriots next week. Oh man, Russell Wilson looked good. If it was not Pittsburgh, I would have bet lots of money on whoever the Jets were playing last night. So I had that feeling, the energy. Talk about energy. Rodgers did after the game. When you are not a team, it's not going to work out. Not the highest level of sports. Jets are not a team, and it's all his fault. It's just ridiculous. Can you imagine being in the locker room and just having conversations the way you're in like a workplace? And you talk about your boss or whatever, and it's like, this guy's just a jackass. He just is. But it's all right, whatever. It's 15-6, and then makes a bad play. They're like a really bad interception, and then Pickens gets lucky on a couple long balls, and that's the end of it. So Squealers win. Means Ravens got to win tonight, or they're not in first place. So looking forward to watching the game tonight. As far as baseball is concerned, Dodgers win. It took a second. They were a little sloppy to start the game. Mets jumped out, but then Mets just ran out of gas, and that's what I figured was going to happen. So I'm happy about that, and looking forward to betting the Dodgers against the Yankees. So we'll see what the odds are. Break it all down as we get later in the week, because they're going to play on Friday. But Yankees cannot win the World Series. They just can't. Hopefully, they just cannot. I think it's the Dodgers' year anyway. They have better players. Dodgers, though, their bullpen needs this rest. It'll be interesting to see how they set up their rotation. They let Bueller start game one. They go back to Flaherty. So anyway, we shall see. I'll talk about it. I'll be here in the morning. Good luck. I put the recap for all the bets and everything, just so we're on the record. If you need me for whatever reason, get in touch with me, and I'll see you guys in the morning.